Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to explore something pretty profound, a direct path to inner peace, taken straight from the original teachings of the Buddha. And what's so radical about it is that it's not about what you do, it's all about what you understand.
So let's just jump right in and challenge a really common idea. What if I told you that the path to real, lasting inner peace doesn't require all the complicated rituals or ceremonies you might think of? What if it didn't even require years of complex meditation? What if it all just came down to a simple but powerful shift in how you see your own mind?
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. We've got 6 key sections that'll walk us through this whole teaching, building from the very foundation right up to a totally new and liberating way of seeing things.
All right, Section 1. So this whole journey kicks off with a concept called a Sotapanna. It literally means a stream enterer, someone who has stepped into the flow, the river that leads to enlightenment. But here's the kicker. This first, crucial step isn't an action. It's not a ritual you perform. It's a moment of aha, a deep internal shift in understanding.
And that's really the heart of it right there. This isn't about doing a bunch of special things. The original teaching is incredibly clear about this. Real, profound transformation comes from just one thing: learning to see things exactly as they are.
Okay, so see correctly. What does that actually mean? Well, think of it like understanding the basic operating system of your own mind, your own experience. And this framework is known as the Four Noble Truths.
But please, don't let the name throw you. This isn't some dusty, abstract philosophy that you just have to believe in. No way. It's much more like a practical, hands-on investigation. It's all about looking squarely at your own life and seeing these truths play out in real time.
And where is the laboratory for this investigation? You don't have to go anywhere. It's right here, inside your own body and your own mind. The entire field of study is just your moment-to-moment experience. So the big question is, how do we begin to unpack all that?
Well, this teaching gives us a kind of toolkit. It breaks down this thing we call me, or myself, into 5 distinct, separate processes, or aggregates. And what's so cool is that when you start looking at the individual components, that feeling of a solid, permanent you starts to, well, it starts to look a lot less solid.
So let's walk through these 5 parts. First, you've got form. That's pretty straightforward. It's just your physical body. Then comes feeling, and we're talking about the raw data here. Pleasant, unpleasant, or just plain neutral. Third is perception. That's the mind's job of recognizing things and sticking a label on them. You know, that's a tree, that's a sound. Fourth, we have mental formations. This is the really active part, your thoughts, intentions, and reactions. And finally, there's consciousness, which is simply the awareness of the other 4 happening. The key idea? It's the super fast dance between these 5 things that we mistake for a single, unchanging self.
Now, I really want you to notice the definition of feeling here. This is so important. It's not talking about an idea in your head like, I am sad. It's describing the raw physical sensation that arises. And very often, this is something you can actually feel as a tangible event in the body, right in the center of your chest. It's a body thing, not just a head thing.
This is such a great way to think about it. We look at a glass and we call it a glass, but that's just a name, a shortcut. The reality is, it's ceramic, made from earth, water, fire, and wind. It's a process, and it's the exact same thing with the idea of a self. Me is just the convenient name we slap onto this constant, churning flow of these 5 processes. Okay, so once we start seeing ourselves as these 5 moving parts, we can finally spot a fundamental glitch in the system. This one little mistake we make over and over again that causes us endless trouble. Just think about it in your own life. The moment an unpleasant feeling shows up, that twinge of anxiety, a wave of frustration, what's the very first automatic thing that happens? Your mind just goes, nope, get rid of this, I don't want it. It's an instant mental pushback, a rejection of what's already here. And that reaction, that wanting reality to be different than it is, that's the whole ballgame. The teaching identifies this as the actual root cause of our psychological suffering. It's not the unpleasant feeling itself that's the core problem. It's our desperate fight against it that creates the endless cycle. So, if reacting is the trap, then what's the escape hatch? Well, it's actually incredibly simple, but it changes everything. It's a shift in your attention, from fighting with your experience to simply knowing it.
Just look at the distinction here. On the left, we've got our usual habit, the trap. I don't want this feeling. That aversion just creates a new cycle of stress. But on the right, you have the path. Instead of fighting, the mind just notes, a feeling is arising. That's it.
This simple act of knowing, without judgment, is what leads to understanding and eventually peace.
And this is the key insight that just watching reveals. Every single thing that arises also eventually ceases. That's its nature. Every thought, every feeling, every sensation, it has a natural life cycle. It appears, it hangs around for a bit, and then it disappears. If we can just stop interfering, it will pass away all on its own.
Now, when you consistently practice this simple act of just knowing, of observing, something truly remarkable starts to happen. It's like the curtain is pulled back, and you begin to see the true nature of your own mind. Our everyday perception is kind of like looking at a cloud from the ground. It seems solid, stable, like a single thing. We see our anger or our happiness as these solid, monolithic states. I am angry.
But if you were to actually fly into that cloud, you'd realize it's not a solid thing at all, is it? It's just an energetic, flickering process of countless tiny, moving water droplets. Our mind, our feelings, our self. It's exactly like that. It's not a noun, it's a verb.
And the sheer speed of this process is it's almost incomprehensible. Get this. The teaching says that in the time it takes for a single eye blink, mental and emotional events can arise and cease hundreds of millions of times. Our mind isn't a solid statue. It's a waterfall of constant, lightning-fast change.
So, when this flickering, impersonal flow is seen directly, and I don't mean as a theory, but as a lived, felt reality, the core illusion of a self just shatters. We see that the body isn't me, the mind isn't mine. That deep-seated feeling that I am the one thinking this or feeling this, it just dissolves. That's what they call the eye of truth opening.
So at the end of the day, this path isn't about becoming a better person. It's about clearly understanding what you already are, a dynamic, impersonal process. And that insight is available right now to any of us just by turning our awareness inward. So the final question to leave you with is this. What could change if you stopped fighting your experience and simply became curious about it?